in the UK, they just had the second reading in Parliament regarding the Overseas Operations Bill. So this is a new piece of legislation, and in a nutshell, it legalizes torture and war crimes. I mean, technically, they're already getting away with torture and war crimes, along with the US, regardless, but now it's just out there in the open. They don't even care anymore. They just don't care. And the general public doesn't care either, because no one seems to even be aware that this is going on or happening. And it's really disgusting. So, not only is this bill morally reprehensible, not only is it abysmal in its nature, but it's openly criminal. It calls upon the UK government to derogate from the European Convention on Human Rights, to just ignore it, to just gut it. So, as we were looking at before, they've started this process, and it's going to benefit them on multiple fronts, to gut the Human Rights Act, which is an incorporation in UK law of the European Convention on Human Rights. But, if you look at the legislation when it comes to this new bill, it's flat out saying there should be a derogation from the European Convention on Human Rights. So the way this works is that the bill is supposed to implement a statute of limitation of 5 years. So if the case of the alleged war crime took place 7 years ago, for example, sorry, nothing is going to happen. We're not prosecuting anyone for that. Why? Because we just legalized torture. That's why. So you can see here, this is the second condition is that the period of 5 years beginning with the day on which the alleged conduct took place has expired. This is a disgusting piece of legislation. And, the way they're trying to frame this in Parliament is, this is to protect our troops, right? You already know. Our beloved servicemen, men, women in uniform. Here, let's take a look at this twat doing that.
What I'm saying very clearly is that there is a fundamental difference between an error and a crime, and there is a fundamental need in military law to allow soldiers to take the risks that we need them to take if they are going to keep our country safe. If we do not allow them to take those risks, then what we are actually saying, fundamentally, is that the weak must defend themselves and the strong can look after themselves. Because the point about military service, the point about soldiering fundamentally, the point about our armed forces is that what they do is allow the strong to defend the weak. They put the use of force under the rule of law, and they allow this country to be strong and safe and partnered with others around the world.
Yeah, that's bollocks. Listen, when we talk about war crimes, when someone alleges torture, that means there was intent. So I don't know why he's bringing in this concept of differentiating between error and a crime. No. War crimes, torture, they're not errors. People don't torture other people by accident. They don't commit war crimes by accident. And he talks about it as if, we have to defend the weak. The white man's bad now, boy. We've got to colonize these bloody savages there, boy, and teach them the white man's way, yes? Fuck off. No one needs your help. You're the one, the UK, the US, are the ones that people need to defend themselves from, okay? You're the colonizers. Do you understand the point here? But no, he's interjecting this, the white man's bad and we have to defend the weak. No, fuck off. No one needs you, okay? And invading Iraq, invading Afghanistan, staying there for 20 years, this is colonization. This is imperialism. And he talks about rule of law as if they give a crap. They're talking about protecting the troops, protecting service members from being vilified and prosecuted for mistakes, and putting in these protections for them. As if they find someone who really did commit a war crime, they'll be prosecuted. No, that's not the case. Even when they have evidence that someone committed a crime, even when they find someone's been murdered, no one is ever prosecuted. And we have so many examples of this, right? I covered the war crimes in Afghanistan, the emails that were leaked by the Sunday Times, D Squadron in the SAS. who were just doing these nighttime raids back in 2010, 2011 in Afghanistan and Helmand province. And, they just come in with a helicopter in the middle of the night and start executing random people in their houses and then saying that, oh, he pulled a knife. Oh, he pulled a grenade. And it came to a point there were more bodies than knives and grenades. What? Like, that's mathematically impossible. And you had people joking about it in the base, in the emails. Like, everyone was aware that this is all made up. And it went all the way to the Ministry of Defense. They knew all about this crap. Okay? And one of those victims in Afghanistan, Saifullah Gharabyar, they came and they shot his father, they shot his brothers. I think the only person who survived is his uncle. They killed 4 of his family members right in front of him in February 2011. 2011! He's been chasing the MOD, the Ministry of Defense, to this day. And he was in a Panorama documentary BBC did. Where's the justice for him? Why does he have to pursue this for a decade? They started Operation Northmore to start looking into these crimes, and not a single person is prosecuted. Hold on a second. SAS conducted those raids. SAS are British Special Forces. We have a few bodies here. The SAS killed those men who were unarmed. That's a fucking war crime. Someone has to be held accountable. I don't know if it's, a corporal or the fucking defense minister. Someone in the chain of command has to be held accountable. So you can't come back and tell me not one single person is being charged. That's corruption. That's covering up for war crimes. So my point is here, they never have any intent of prosecuting people who are clearly guilty of war crimes. They never implement justice, regardless. And you go look at the case of Musa, right? This Iraqi hotel manager. I think he was 26, and this is back in 2003. He was beaten to death. They literally beat him to death. British soldiers beat him to death. They punched him, kicked him so bad. There's video of it, that he died. And you had 6 soldiers that were let off, and only one who was charged, this corporal, Donald Payne. He served 1 year. He's court-martialed, and he served 1 year in jail, and he's let go. 1 year for fucking murder. Why? Oh, because it's an Iraqi. He killed an Iraqi man. And obviously, an Iraqi man has less value than a white British male. So yeah, 1 year in prison. He committed fucking murder in an illegal war. It's an illegal war, an illegal occupation. You give him 1 year? What kind of a fucking justice system is that? There is no justice. This is continuous cycle of covering up war crimes. And you're seeing it right now with the prosecution of Assange. They're prosecuting him. They're trying to send him to the US. Why? Because he exposed war crimes. There's no justice here. This is an imperialist institution. Okay? Absolutely disgusting. It really is disgusting. And, just to further accentuate that point, it's not just about these special forces in the SAS who just massacre Afghani men in the middle of the night and get off scot-free, and then Donald Payne killing Baha Musa and then getting away with it. It's not just Julian Assange being prosecuted for exposing war crimes. Dude, they went to vote yesterday in the House of Commons on this second reading. Guess what happened to the people who voted against it? You had 3 junior shadow ministers in the Labour Party got sacked because they voted against this thing. Unbelievable. These were the emails, by the way, that I was talking about regarding Afghanistan. These were obtained by the Sunday Times, and they worked with the BBC on this, and you can see them openly joking about it. Is this about the latest massacre? Like, they just talk so callously about this stuff. You couldn't make it up. It's unbelievable. And no one is held accountable. You see, the charges were dropped, and the government closed down Operation Northmore without prosecuting a single case. Unreal. So, in the end, when they voted yesterday, 332 to 77. If that does not scare you, I don't know what does. It's not just in the US, it's also in the UK. You have bipartisanship. Yes, there's wide consensus for all things war for all things imperialism. Remember, it's the Labour Party. Tony Blair partnered up with Bush for the Iraq War. So, it really makes no difference who's in charge. At the end of the day, when it comes to making money off of war and participating in the wars, yeah, they're all on board. You look at what's happening right now. They're training Saudi pilots in the UK. They go all the way to the UK to be trained. To do what? To go and bomb fishing villages and murder civilians in Yemen. And then the UK sells them weapons as well, right? Hundreds of billions of pounds worth of weapons, just like Canada, just like France, just like the US. Doesn't matter if it's Democrats. Doesn't matter if it's Republicans in the US, because Obama and Trump both did it. It doesn't matter in the UK if it's the Labour Party running the country or if it's the Tories. They're all on board with war. They're all on board with legalizing torture and war crimes. So it doesn't matter if your case is older than 5 years old. It doesn't matter if it's something that happened just yesterday. They're not going to lift a fucking finger. They're never going to prosecute anyone. You can murder someone and just get 1 year in jail. You call that a justice system? You call what's happening to Assange a fair trial? Fucking hell, man. And the idea that you're going to place UK law, even after you leave the EU, you're going to place that above the Geneva Convention, above the Hague Conventions, and act like those don't exist? UK law does not change what constitutes a war crime. It does not change the fact that you can be held accountable for committing war crimes, okay? But they're acting as if UK law supersedes everything else. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Also, the UN Convention on Torture. I mean, like, we have a goddamn list over here of international treaties that are being violated just by this one piece of legislation. No mention. They don't care. And they also act like this doesn't apply to Northern Ireland and it's not going to violate the Good Friday Agreement. Yes, it does. Because it's openly calling on the UK to derogate from the European Convention on Human Rights. How can you gut the Human Rights Act and everything in it that comes from the ECHR and act like that doesn't affect core principles of the Good Friday Agreement? Ireland is still in the EU. I mean, this is, man, come on. It's really disgusting what they're doing over here. It really is. And it's not like they weren't already getting away with war crimes. We know they were. We know, we get it, yes. But they're just shamelessly trying to legalize it now. I mean, there you go. I just thought I'd bring you up to date on the latest issue of 1984.